given to you, and if I don't say that store it in this way, everyone is going to store it in their own way, and it may lead to unorganized data. So what Oracle says, or what our DBMS says, that inside a database, you have to store the data in the form of a table. That means in the form of rows and columns, right? Rows and columns. Let me show you the example of a table. I have told you W3 schools in reference, right? W3 schools. I have told you that there is one web tutorial from which you can study the content of TLS 12. Right? I am right now right. Can you see? This is the home page of WC School. This is how your table look like. I am just this is how your table look like. Yes or no? You have rows and columns. Initially, what will happen? You will be creating just an empty table with name of the columns only, right? And then one by one, what you will be doing? You will be inserting the rows inside that table. So your table will grow as and when you start entering the record. So table is kind. You know data type, right? What is the data type in C? Which are the different data types you have used? Integer, float, character, right? So what is the data type actually? What a data type tells us? That particular variable can hold this type of value. Yes or no? It is a you can say set of permissible value. If I say integer A, I can only store integer. I cannot store floating point number because it is not permitted by integer. So data type is the structure which is given to a particular variable. Similarly, whenever we'll be creating the table, this is a table, it's an empty structure. Have you used structure in C? Right? In tree or in for yes, in that you might be using. What is that? You are creating first a structure, empty structure. In data structure also you will be using that. You will be creating an empty structure, and one after the other you will insert the node inside that structure. Similarly, we are creating an empty table initially with the rows and columns. With only columns. With only column. Right now there is no row in the table. It is just saying that these are the attributes of the table. Clear? Once the table is created, that means we are having a full warehouse, that is a database. Inside that warehouse, we are creating a structure called table. We are creating a structure called table. Our data will be stored where? Now, inside the table. Am I clear? As and when we'll be progressing, I'll be giving you more and more importance of this table, why it is telling to store it in a table. We'll see that, right? So our job is to create what? Table. Actually the first job is to create a database. But as it is an Oracle Apex account, your workspace itself is your database, your warehouse, your room. Now, you can imagine right now this is a warehouse, this is a database. Then what they did different partitions so that the student can be managed properly. So this is your first table, this is your second table, this is your third table, right there. Fine. So our first job right now, is to create table. Now can I create, logically tell me, how many number of columns should be there in a table? It's not fixed, right? Based on my requirement, based on my design, I can either have 1 column table, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, right? But will these columns will be related to one another or not? Yes. Inside one table, you will put only those attributes, those columns which is related to that table. Fine. If it is a student table, you'll be putting phone number and age and semester and CPI and SPA. If it is a faculty table, will you put SPI CPI there? No, because SPI CPI is not related to a faculty. But you will put designation, you will put salary, you will put employee code like this. We will not put salary in student account, student table, right? So table is a collection of related attributes. Database is a collection of Database is a collection of tables. Table is a collection of related attributes. And in a simple term, attributes means columns. Am I clear? Abhishek and Shivani, just acknowledge. Are you clear with the things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Shivani, Rahul. I hope I'm audible. Shivani and Rahul.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So, we will be creating this kind of table. Right now, I'm not starting with lab practical exactly. I'm just giving you a simple way to create a table, temporary table. We are not going to use this table anymore, just to make you aware about the syntax and how to create it. Fine. So, where we will be going? Okay, now fine. The second thing. You have different columns, different attributes in a table. Do you think every column will be storing the same type of data? In your program, you will be having few variables which will be storing integers, few variables which will be storing float, few will be storing characters, few will be string, like that. So do you think your table will be having same kind of data? If we take a student example, your enrollment number is a number, your name is a character, that is rather string. Your SPI CPI is a float, right? Your address is actually a line or a string. Okay? So you will be your photo is if it is a student data, it will be your photo will also be there, right? What is that? That's an image, right? So every attribute will be having its own data type based on the data that attribute will store. Correct? So now, while creating the table, it is not only sufficient to give the name of the columns. So column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Table should also know that this column will store which type of data, this column will store which type of data. So along with the table, when we create a table, what things we have to take into consideration? First of all, number of columns. Then name of the column. If I say there are 5 columns, but which are they? Right? So number of columns, how one relevant column, obviously they are relevant. Then name of the column. Then correct. Type of the column. That okay, if it is a name, it's a string. If it is a number, it is an integer. Right? So number of columns, name of column and type of. Now anything else left? Anything else left? Forget about the individual column names. Anything in the first glance, do you think anything is left? No. Right now it is empty. See, this is not a fixed. You have not studied array. Have you studied array? Array is what? Fixed size. When you say A of 10, you are allocating 10 bytes, 10 into 2. Now suppose it is integer array. 10 into 2 bytes fixed. Now array cannot grow. Right? Similarly, but there are data structures which can grow. Right now we have allocated dynamic function is what? You have initially given this, you need more, you are growing it. So when you create a table, you are just creating an empty structure with empty columns. That's fine. Anything very important, think logically, you are having multiple tables. I'm giving you hint. You are having multiple tables in the database. See, location, it's a management of your entirely management of operating system. Where my database is going to be stored in actual memory, I am least concerned. That's a job of operating system and your DBMS. We are not. I'm talking about logically, which we are concerned. This is a room. Consider every machine individual as an individual table. Now what? If this machine, that means the identity of the table. Table name कहाँ पे कहीं पे दिया? तो उसको आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करेंगे कि ये टेबल पे मुझे वर्क करना है, राइट? सो यू नीड 4 थिंग्स. First thing, table name. First of all, you need a table name. Then number of columns. You have to decide how many number of columns you want to put. Name of every column and the first of all table name, that is the identity of the table. Column name is the identity of the column inside the table, and then the type of the data your column is going to store, right? So while creating a table, we will mention 3 things. We have to decide 4 things, but we'll mention 3 things. Decide koi karwani? Decide what we have to decide. Table name, column number, column type, and data type. Column name, table name, that is the identity. Column name, table name, column, how many total number of columns, column name, and data type of an individual column. Now, while creating it, you will consider only 3 things. What? Table name, of course, column name, and type of column. Clear with this? Because when you will mention the different columns, your database will automatically count how many columns are there. Clear? But when you are creating, you should have in mind that I want to have 4 columns, or 5 columns, or 6 columns. Okay? Shall we create it? Very, very simple command to create it. Now, I am going into the SQL command interface. I am first creating a table. Let's say I am giving the name of the table temporary. Temp table. Always have the habit of using a meaningful name, right? My meaningful name is what? It's a temporary table just to make you aware about creation of tables. So it's a temp table. But when we will be creating, suppose it is storing the data related to student, we will write student table. Then if it is storing the storing the details of the account, bank account, will be write the name as account or bank account, right? Always give the meaningful name. Now comes the thing which you have to very, very carefully look. This is the syntax how we are going to create a table. What is the first thing? What I want to do? I want to create a table. So the keyword to create a table is create. The name is create. The keyword is create. This create keyword is going to create something for us. This create keyword can create so many things, but right now let us assume we want to create only table. So create, what I want to create? Table. So the keyword will be, second keyword will be create table. These two are keywords. If it is a keyword, the color will change. If it is a keyword, the color will change. If I am doing something, some spelling mistake, you can say that this color has not been changed. This is something wrong. This is the first way to check whether your spellings are correct or not. This is not case sensitive. Case sensitive means small space. That's not. It's not. Oracle is not case sensitive, but spellings are very, very important. It is this type of spelling is not allowed. Please be careful in using that table, the keywords and their actual spelling. So the actual keyword is create table. Now what should be the first thing to mention? Table name. I will identify this table with a particular name. So I'll be saying, let's say create table temp. or anything you want. Say create table person, right? Let's make it. If you press enter, and let me just finish it. It will tell you what to do with next line. Create table person. What is this person? Name of a table. Is it a keyword? It is a user-defined name, right? Yes. Everyone will be giving their own name. So if it is a user-defined name, the color will be white. So create table person. Now the next thing, first thing done. Second thing, number of columns that we have decided. But for mentioning name of the column, internally in our mind we know that we have to attach 3 columns. So which are they? For what? You have to write a bracket here, round bracket. Inside round bracket, you have to write the name of the first column. Let's say name. Name. Next thing, what to write? The type of value we are supposed to store inside this column. It's a string, right? Now, in C we have character array to store a string. In Java, .NET, Python, we have altogether a different data type called string. But in database, we have a data type called varchar2. Varchar2 is a varchar or varchar2. Both are, I'll be telling you the difference later on. Let's say varchar2. This is the data type for used for storing string. Am I clear? Used for storing string. Whenever in any column you want to store string variable, string data, you are supposed to use varchar. Okay? Now, character array, when you say character array, you define a size also. That I will store this much amount of character in a string. Similarly, you are also supposed to mention that you are storing a string, but of which length? Right? So let's say I am storing it in 20. So this becomes 20 characters long string. Am I clear? Maximum I can accommodate 20 characters. I can have 5-10 characters, that's fine. But maximum I can have 20 characters. Then let's say second column. So it will be separated by comma. So second column, comma. What we will be writing? Let's say age. It's variable. It's based on your content. If you in the bigger string, you will be using different. If it is an address, if it is storing an address, obviously it will be bigger. So use 100 characters, 200 characters. It is up to you, right? But it is a name, so I am just keep 12. This 20, yes, it will use memory. So you have to be very, very cautious about mentioning the size. Because if you are storing it, if it is occupying less, so much less, it is actually a wastage of memory. No, that's not. This actually is a process of database design. That's not the thing. Yes, but yes, you can alter the size of the column later on. मान लो अगर आपने अभी टेबल बना लिया, डेटा एंटर करा, एक डेटा ऐसा आया जो यहाँ पे फिक्स नहीं है, then you can change the size of the column. That's later on it is possible. But right now we are keeping it simple. So create table. Actually name is in red color. So let's say P name, person name. Name is something keyword reserved here. So I am using P name.
Data type for age.
Data type for age. What should be the data type?
Integer.
Obviously integer. So we'll be writing again the keyword is, it's simple, integer. जैसे हम C में है वैसे ही है, int. That's it. Can I use another column here? Let's take the help from the table. City. Right? City में see. Integer में specify करने की जरूरत नहीं कितने integer आपको चाहिए. If it is a floating point number, decimal, then you can have to mention that 10 digits will be for this 10 digit will be for a decimal part and point के बाद कितने floating point. That you can do. If it is a floating point number, if it is a normal integer, simple integer will work. Let's say the third column is city. Again, city will have which type of content? Characters only, right? So what we have to mention? Varchar 2 and again size say 50. Clear? Let's say my table comprises of only 3 columns with 3 database. Clear? Now your SQL query ends with semicolon. Always ends with semicolon. So don't forget this. As your C statement was ending with semicolon, this also ends with semicolon. So that's it. Once your query is ready, let me just confirm from online. Abhishek, Shivani, Rahul, getting the content, guys? Okay. Shivani, Rahul, fine. Please be with me. We are learning very important thing, and from next time onwards, I'll be just giving you the format. I'll be just giving you the table name and structure. You are supposed to fire the create command query. Easy? Now, once our query is ready, we are supposed to execute it. How to execute? You have a run option here. Go to this run, and once you'll be running, oh, it's session expired. So again, I have to. Screen देखाई से मारी कि नहीं? Let me copy paste it. Done. Now what I'll be doing? I'll press run. Once I'll be press run, it will take some time, and you can see the message here. Table created. You got the message here? In the result section. You got the message table created. અહીંયા રિઝલ્ટમાં અહીંયા જોઈ લ્યો. મારી સ્ક્રીન શેર છે? Okay. Let me just
screen share change.
I think I might not have shared the entire screen. Now is it visible?
Yes.
Right. Table created. That means your structure is ready to store the data of a person having 3 columns: name, age, and city. Right? Yes. If you want to see the history so far, which type of queries you have generated, go to this history. And whichever query you have fired, you can see. These are the sample which I have fired many a times in different labs. So you will be seeing multiple, but when you will be doing, you will be having only one query right now, right? Create person. Okay. Then let's come back to results. It took 0.03 seconds to fire the query. और आज ही हमने सीखा. When you write a query, the query will be processed internally. It will be converted into the machine dependent code. Everything will take place internally, and the result will be given back to you in how many time? 0.03 seconds. Right? So fast it is. Fine. Even though it is cloud based, we have created this person table somewhere in the cloud of Oracle. But still, in this much time, Oracle is giving you the response. Fine. So that's it. Now, suppose, let me give you more features here. See, you can see here in the last line, can you see this? This is the name of the workspace which I am using. And the symbol here around, symbol is a symbol of database. So what I told that in Oracle Apex, whenever you are creating a workspace, actually you are creating a database. So this is my database, which I am using it right now. Fine. So we are not creating a database first, but actually We have to create database first and then we can proceed with table. But here it is already there. Now what we have to do, let me show you one more thing. For example, I have multiple tables in my system, in my database. I want to check how many tables are there, right? So I can have this find tables button. Click on that. You will be having, this is a sample table. This is the table which we just now created. Yes or no? And this is a which type of thing? It is a table. As I already told you, create keyword can create many things. This is table is one of them. So with the help of create, we have created a table. When you click on that, it is giving you something. What is that? We'll be seeing later on. Don't worry right now. I am just closing this. Now, चलो ये तो ठीक है 3 column वाला ही table है. But in real time, it may happen that you have 10, 15, 20 columns. You want to show the structure, you want to see the actual structure in the tabular. See, this is not easy for us to read, right? Yeah. This is okay, fine, we are creating, we are using a query, that's okay. But for later on purpose, we don't want to see the query in, we don't want to see the table in this form. We want the table in the table form, yes. Right? So for that, we can write the another query called DESC and person. That is describe person. Describe table name. The query is describe table name. Describe gives you the structure of the table. Let us run it. End with the semicolon. Run it. Can you see now?
Yes.
Person is the table name. The first name is, the first column is P name with varchar 2, age with number, city with varchar 2. Different नहीं है, size का difference है, बहुत difference नहीं है. The difference will be studying later on. But for time being, for beginning, you can use interchangeably both, varchar or varchar 2, both are fine. Got it? Next is what? Length. हाँ, आपने देखा होगा length हमने varchar में दिया था, number में नहीं दिया. So it is compulsory for you to provide the length of your data for varchar 2 or string data. For number, it is not mandatory. If you provide, it will take. If you don't provide, it will be taking the default value. Fine. So length is there. Now, what is the scale? Precision. 0 precision. It is not a floating point. So scale is 0. Fine. Then this primary key, nullable and everything, we will be learning it later on. Now it is easy for you to understand? Yes. Clear? Now, what should be the next thing? I have a table structure with me. What should be the next thing? What should be the next thing? I'm stopping here. I'm not continuing with the next query. But what should be the next thing? I have a container with me ready. Now what?
Insert data.
Yes. The next query will be what? Insert data, right? Into table. Now my table is person. So insert into person and then we'll be proceeding. There are multiple ways to insert. We'll see it later on. Understood this creation of table? Now are you capable of creating table?
Yes,
Whatever is the thing which is left from my side, like different data types, I'll convey it in the next lab. And once everything is done from my side, I'll give you time and I'll be giving you the question for you to create the table. I'll be giving you the thing like this. I'll be giving you a table. You have to convert it into query and then this kind of description. Fine? It is direct, it is stored. It is stored. Later on, here you can see. Go to your home page. Here you can see there are, how many tables are there? Can you see it? Already these 3 tables are there. And this is the table you want for a quick reference. Whichever table you want, you can use it here, right? Now let me just assure you one more thing. It is a cloud based, your workspace is already stored. I'm logging it, I'm signing out from here. I have signed out, fine. I'm signing it again. What should be the scenario now? Should that person table be deleted or it should be there? It should persist, right? So again I'm signing in back. Can you see the same 3 tables here? Click on this table and all the 3 tables are ready. Fine? So it will persist even if you go to the history, go to SQL commands. Here the history will be there. In recent, in the home page if you have seen, here also you will be seeing the history. हाँ, आप मल्टीपल कर सकते हो, वो हम अब बाद में देखेंगे. अभी मतलब बिगिनिंग है तो हर बार डिलीट करो और फ्रेश लिखो. So this is the recent SQL commands. Okay, describe will not be stored. Why? This is not actually SQL thing. This is showing you a structure in a different way, right? So describe is not an SQL command. I'll be telling you different kinds of SQL statements. You have already understood one, that is create, right? Now, and you know the second one. You know the second one.
Insert.
Insert. You know the second one, insert, right? Insert comes under another criteria of SQL commands. Create comes under the different criteria. That we will be looking later. Am I clear? So that's it for today. Those who are online, any problem with create query? Any problem with create query? Rahul, Shivani, Abhishek? Okay, so whenever you get time, if you are free, just take some sample random tables and try to fire create query. Right? One more thing, let me just tell you a simple thing. Okay, I just closed that thing. Actually, I wanted to delete the table. Right? So I wanted to tell you that. But that's fine. We'll be doing it later. Fine. So let me take the attendance.
Syntax.
Huh?
Syntax.
Syntax.
Yes, ma'am.
Create table, table name.
Create table name.
हाँ, create table name और वो ब्रैकेट में कॉलम नेम डेटा टाइप, कॉमा कॉलम नेम डेटा टाइप, कॉमा कॉलम नेम डेटा टाइप. मैं जनरल सिंटेक्स भी करवाऊंगी, डोंट वरी. जनरल सिंटेक्स में आपको करवाऊंगी एंड देन विल बी प्रैक्टिसिंग फॉर. यहाँ पे मतलब आधी ही लैब थी तो फिर आई जस्ट थॉट के डायरेक्टली आई विल बी गिविंग यू द एग्जांपल so that you can start using this account. But we'll start with the scratch from next lab where we'll be looking to the general syntax and then syntax specific to our table. Right? Okay, that's great. Shivani and Rahul, you are getting it. Let me take the attendance for today. Right. This is A batch. Bridge is present. Jai is not present. Ravi is present. Abhishek is present. Guddu is present. Janisha is present. Hariom is not there. Ajay is present. I'm trying to remember the names. Let me test my database whether I can retrieve the information or not. Noshad is not there. Abhishek was there. Shivani was there. Rahul was not there. That's it. Rahul was not there, right? ओ सॉरी राहुल यादव. उसका यहाँ पे छोटा नाम है और वहाँ पे बड़ा नाम. तो राहुल कुमार MEFG और यहाँ पे राहुल यादव था तो मुझे लगा अलग. ओके यस फाइन. राहुल इज प्रेजेंट. सी My database failed. Okay. तो सी बैच है ही नहीं आप लोग? हाँ आई कहाँ गई? No, this is not actually my format, but in hurry I just keeping the attendance here and then I'll be converted into my format. Okay, thank you very much. Online students can leave. Thank you very much for joining. Do practice the create query. Later on in the next lab, again we'll be starting from scratch to understand every query. Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek, Shivani, Rahul. You can leave.